Hello and welcome. I wanted to get this. Sometimes the world is a bit against you or against me when I'm trying to record. I wanted to record this before the outcome of the US elections, and I think I've just about made it because the time, according to my laptop clock, is 4:15 on Tuesday the 3rd of November. And I've just had one of those days that everything has transpired against me getting on to record. But I wanted to do this as a bit of a special for my astrology enthusiasts who follow me. So welcome, really glad to have you as part of the growing tribe. And there is so much going on in this month's November astrology that's going to affect us all globally, in this country, definitely in America, but I thought it would also be helpful if I could shed a little light about what might be happening in your businesses as well. So when I recorded my podcast last week on the blue moon, I spoke about how this blue moon, which happened on Saturday the 31st of October, and I spoke about how the moon was in Taurus and it was conjuncting, so that means it's right next to the planet of Uranus. Now, the moon in Taurus likes everything to be secure and warm and cozy. It's all comfort zone stuff, especially this Taurian moon, because Taurus is all about comfort and sensuality and security. It's an amazing place for the moon to be. So the moon is very happy sitting around in Taurus, but along comes Uranus. In fact, the moon actually goes to Uranus because the moon is the faster moving planet. But Uranus is quite the opposite. So Uranus likes to break free. It's everything that's about you breaking free of shackles and going into new territories and expansion. And Jupiter is about expansion, but Uranus is about, there's just breaking free and doing the unexpected and doing things that you shouldn't be doing. And when I spoke about this blue moon on Saturday, or for Saturday's blue moon, I said, well, actually, the message of this new moon, and the strong message that underpins it was that it's an end of a karmic cycle. And what this moon has been saying is that, well, okay, you've been in this really comfy zone for a little while, for quite a long while, but it's now the end. And you now need to be breaking free. That's the message of Uranus, that it's now time to break free away from this comfort of what you've been doing. And if we think back to this year, which has been a whole massive year of changes, when we had COVID coming in February, March time, and we had to change in our businesses, didn't we? We had to look at new technology. So that's Uranus getting involved there. And we had to think differently about our businesses. So we can't have this secure way that how it always was. It's not going to be like that. We're going to go forward into a new way. And Uranus rules technology, amongst other things. So we need to embrace this new technology and move forward into this new way. So leaving the old behind us and moving forward, embracing new ways of being, new ways of operating in our business, new technology. What technology can you bring into your business that you can embrace? Rather than fighting it, it'll win out in the end, so go with it. So rather than fighting it, embrace it, bring it in, utilize it, look at how your business can turn around. So many businesses over the summer months have embraced e-commerce, embraced Zoom software that I'm using now, and looked at a different way of doing their business. And this is Uranus. It is saying that if you haven't done it already, just leave that behind, leave the old comfort zone behind, and move forward into this new way of being. Don't just relax into what was and hoping it will come back. It won't. We need to move forward, and one of the reasons we need to move forward is that this year has been a shift in a spiritual awakening for all of us, for the whole of mankind on the planet. That we've grown so much as a population, and we're, many of you who've heard me speak before will know that I've said that we've raped and pillaged this planet, and we've overused its resources, and we've taken its natural resources for granted, and we've pumped bad stuff into the atmosphere. It kind of not so much coming back to haunt us, but now it is saying that the planetary activity and what is happening spiritually amongst everybody is it's time to wake up and time to move forward into new ways of being. Leave all this stuff behind where we have overused the planet and we've done bad by the planet. As a human race, we pretty much have been. There's more messages here too, and I will go on to these. But it is now time to awaken to, as human beings, what we can be, which are glorious humans doing the best for each other and the best for the planet on which we reside. So that's this new moon that was the end of the karmic cycle on the 31st of December, 31st of October, sorry, just gone. That was the end of a cycle. We're moving into this new cycle now. So if you can bear that in mind with whatever happens. Now, it's interesting when I look at the planetary activity, and I've got the list out in front of me. We've got now this affects the world as a whole, which is really interesting, which is why I wanted to record this now before the results of the US elections, because we've got a T-square, and a T-square makes that shape. And we've got Neptune at 1 point at the square of this T-square, and we've got the two north nodes. We've got the south node and the north node making up this T-squared with Neptune. Now, this is around all month. And it gets a bit more interesting, but let me tell you what that means or how I interpret it. So Neptune rules the dream world. Neptune it's a lovely artistic planet, but it rules all that kind of nebulous confusion, that dreamy area. You know, when you're dreaming and you can't quite pin down anything. And that's Neptune energy. It's where it's all kind of foggy and misty and ethereal, and it creates this atmosphere where things are hidden and you can't quite see everything, and you can't quite understand what's going on. So, and this is Neptune. Now, the interesting thing is, so we've got all this hidden stuff, this confusion. But we've got the two nodal points. Now, the nodes aren't real planets. They're points in the sky related to the moon, but they have a powerful impact on us. And the nodal points at the moment are across Sagittarius and Gemini. Now, when we've got the north node in Gemini, that is saying to us, so we've come through. The karmic opposite of that is the south node, and the south node has been in Sagittarius. So our journey has been through Sagittarius to get to the north node in Gemini. And what that is saying is that you've come through this karmic journey, and you've got to get rid of this self-righteousness, this I'm always right, and no, my way is the way forward. We have to get out of that. It also, interestingly, says that what we've been doing is speaking without checking our facts. And that's where we've come from. So if we've been speaking without checking our facts, so people are just going on their own path, thinking that they're right and not accepting anybody else's way. And then other people will just accept what's being said to them without checking out whether it's correct or not. And we see this, don't we? You know, social media, we see stuff on social media and people will share it around without actually checking the facts of it. And, you know, me too, I've shared stuff out. It's genuinely thinking it was honest and true, but actually it wasn't. And I didn't check the facts. You know, we've all been there. I can't be the only one. So the Gemini, this Gemini nodal energy is saying, no, you've got to get rid of this now. You've got to get rid of this self-righteousness. We've got to get rid of this bit where we say, I'm right and you're wrong, mister. And if we think about the planet as well, you know, well, we can take what we want, can't we? Because we're the superior race. Who says? We're not the superior race at all, but we do, maybe we're superior in a way that we can take responsibility for the planet now in a way that we haven't done before. And we all have the brain power and the intelligence, the practical intelligence that we can do something about our actions and we can protect the planet for the future. We have the ability to do that. And we need to ask these questions now and seriously ask questions about what has been happening and how can we change that going forwards. So what this Gemini is saying is that, but if you can get rid of that, now it's the time to move forward into partnerships and bringing together communities, putting down roots properly on the planet in a way that we're looking after it. Having a lightness of heart whilst we're doing it. It's not heavy. Gemini is light and it's quite flirty, but it is about partnership. So approaching it in a light way and respecting everybody else on this planet, but respecting our planet, all of its inhabitants. You know, whether they're you know, insects or invertebrates or our four-legged friends or whatever our planetary companions are, this is what, and obviously our other humans, Gemini, this nodal Gemini is saying we need to move towards that now. We need to work together. We need to partnership. We need to have a lightness and joy in our hearts as we move forward into this. So, but it's interesting because when we look at this, if you think about what I've said, we've come from this point of this speaking and sharing information without checking the facts, and then we look at this Neptune and these two nodal points where it's talking about hidden truths I've written down in the media. Gemini will rule media, Neptune to some extent. My feeling is when I'm looking at this, that there's hidden truths which haven't come to the surface yet, but they are about to. It involves the media. There is confusion around at the moment, but that'll go. The thing is with these mists, like these Neptune mists, as I envisage it, is, you know, you start shining sunlight on it and the mists all disappear, and then we can see what is real. And I think over the next few weeks, we will see an awful lot of truths come to light. Now, I don't know what those are, but I can tell you that there is what's called a stellium. Now, a stellium is when you get 3 planets or more coming together, and they're tightly together in one house or one sign of the chart. And the one thing that's been causing a bit of an issue for this year think you'll agree there's been a bit of an issue going on, is a Jupiter-Pluto-Saturn conjunction, and it's formed a stellium. Now, these are three majorly powerful planets. And I wrote about this on a social media post back in the summer, actually, talking about how those planets have come together, and they will separate out again. But we've got Saturn that is very happy. They're all in Capricorn, so this is all in Earth sign, and real proper Earth, not sort of flimsy on the surface, but proper Earth. Saturn is in its own sign of Capricorn, so Saturn is very happy and it's really strong. Saturn is about boundaries and structure and parenting. It's the father figure. It's also government. So we've got that in Capricorn, and we have a conjunction therefore with Pluto. Now, when Pluto comes sailing past one of your planets, well, it doesn't sail because it takes 240 odd years to go around your chart, or any chart. But when Pluto touches a planet, it's not quite lighting the blue touch paper, but it will blow up. It will bring everything up that's underneath the surface, and it will bring it up to the surface. I often liken it to like a volcano. So, you know, like a volcano, you can have the magma all bubbling around underneath for quite a while, and then something will happen to make it all blow up to the surface. And this is what is happening at the moment, because so we've got Pluto next to Saturn, so that's kind of starting to blow things up on an Earth level. It's asking us to awaken. But Jupiter on top of all this, now Jupiter is normally a really lovely planet to have touching one of your planets, but it depends what it's touching, because if Jupiter is touching Pluto, which it is at the moment, Jupiter expands anything it touches. So if you're trying to lose weight, you don't want Jupiter floating around on your moon or touching your moon, because that's a surefire way for you not to be able to lose weight, because it will make you emotionally eat. But Jupiter touching Venus, for example, if Venus rules love and beauty, yeah, you'd want those two together. That would be marvelous. Stick in a bit of Mars and you've got a great sex life happening there. But Jupiter and Pluto, no, that's not a great combination, because the Jupiter will expand. If this bubbling energy of Pluto, Jupiter is there to expand whatever it touches. So it's expanding this Pluto energy, and this Pluto energy is already, Pluto rules the underworld, so it's already bringing this out, but now Jupiter is going to add to it, and it's all Earth stuff. So there's Earth about our planet, but there's also, because Saturn rules government and structure, we're going to have this massive changes in structure and our government as I see it. There's going to be major changes, because all this is, if we mix this in with this Neptune, these Gemini nodal points, we've got a lot of hidden truths that we can't see right now because this Neptune energy, but there's this planetary activity going on that's going to make it come to light. Now, why I wanted to get this recording in before the US election is because I think it's tied up with the US election. I'm not entirely sure how yet, but when I looked at the planetary activity alongside the US chart, and I take for any astrologers watching, I will tell you which chart, or just on the chart now. She says, having just lost the chart, where's the US chart gone? Oh, here we are. No, that's today. I have lost the US chart. Anyway, I'll find it in a minute and find the US chart. That's not so great, is it? I can't find it. Oh, 4th of July, 1776. So I had it written down on a bit of paper in front of me. So that's the chart I took, which was the 4th of July was the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Now, when I look at that chart and I look at Donald Trump's chart as well, this, you know, this Neptune nodal T-square and the Pluto, it was all tied up with Donald Trump's chart. Now, which one do I think will get into the election? I can't tell from the astrology is the honest answer. There's no clear winner. My instinct, and this is my instinct, and the energy I feel, I think, well, I don't think we'll know actually. I think it's probably going to be Biden who gets in, but I've got no political affiliation to anybody in the States. But I think because Donald Trump's chart, his nodal points, that Gemini Sagittarius, are bang on top of the worldwide ones at the moment. I mean, you couldn't get any tighter. So Donald Trump, whether you love him or loathe him, he is intrinsically and karmically tied to the future of the US. Now, that does not mean I'm saying he will necessarily get in as president again for a next term. What I'm saying is that he is karmically tied. So his term of office will have an effect on America's future for the long term, and anything that's going to have an effect on American future or the US's future for the long term will therefore have an effect on the rest of the world's future, being that it's the leading country. So, you know, however long he's president, whether he's gone by January or whether he's got another 4 years, I actually don't think he's going to sit out another 4 years. My feeling is that Biden will come. His chart on top of the America's chart is very soothing. It's a very different energy. So if I could tap into my own guidance and my own instinct, I would say that Donald Trump's effects on the US chart and US future, which affects the world, is that he has come along to show us what we don't want, and maybe he is also going to reveal truths, because we know how he communicates on Twitter. He's very famous for it. So I think if he doesn't get back into office, he would say stuff and he would talk stuff. These hidden truths will come to light. Now, as I said, I don't know what they are, but I think he's intrinsically tied up with it. He will help bring these truths to light. And whatever truths he brings to light, it will also identify what the media has kept hidden from us as well. Now, whether he's had a point or not about false reporting in the media, I don't know. I have my own feelings, but this is not about my feelings. This is about the astrology and just reporting on what I see here. But he's always maintained that the media is not reporting properly. Now, maybe they are, maybe they're not. I do listen to the news, and we listen to Radio 4, myself and Nige here, that it's a sensible radio station, and even there they misreport information and they don't tell the whole truth. So we got this COVID situation where they're saying, oh, it's X thousand cases a day, but they don't tell you how bad those cases are or not. They're feeding this doom and gloom, and feeding stress and anxiety, because that's what feeds the news, but it doesn't help us as individuals. And it may be that we have 20,000 or 20,000 people a day testing positive, but testing positive isn't the same as being ill. So if you test positive, you're at home, you haven't seen anybody, and you don't have any symptoms, well, you can't possibly pass it on to anybody. And I'm not ignoring COVID, I'm not playing it down, please don't think that. I'm just saying that with any statistics, we have to look at the whole, all of the facts, and the news don't report all of the facts. They report the bits that suit them to create the drama and the headlines, which is what they need to sell newspapers. I've spent 30 years in marketing, and I qualified. When I qualified in marketing, I specialized in advertising, and I can tell you that advertising creates strong headlines with one sensational bit of information, the bit that's going to make you react to that ad and respond and go and do something. That's what marketeers need you to do to buy their products, and there's nothing wrong with that fundamentally, but our newspapers and our media do the same. It's not just newspapers, it's the radio, and any of the news channels do the same. They are fundamentally giving the stuff that makes people buy the papers. That's the bit of the information they give, and they report on just that, the top bit that sells the newspapers. They don't necessarily give the underneath story, the rest of the story. And this is what the astrology is saying, is that no, it's time now to bring all that underneath stuff up to the surface. This is what Pluto is saying. No more should it be hidden. This is what this Gemini nodal point is saying. No more should it be hidden. This is what this Moon Uranus conjunction last Saturday is saying. No, that's the end of that. No, we need to tell the truth now. I mean, Uranus is very much about the truth, utter truth. My daughter is Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, and yeah, if you want the truth, ask Charlie, because she'll tell you. There's no no biting around the bush on that one. So we've got this situation where we've been used to the norm and how things are reported and how things are, but it's now time to shift. And I think Donald Trump's presidency has been part of that karmic shift to enable us to see differently. Now, if he gets in, I'm not sensing he was staying. I don't know. I look at Biden's chart on America, and I see Donald Trump's chart with America. Donald Trump's chart is very tied in with America karmically, and Joe Biden isn't. In Donald Trump, karmic is very powerful. It's got Pluto energy in there as well. So that he's got Leo rising. So his character, his way of being, that's very out there and on the public stage. I said to Nudge a few weeks ago, I think he probably should have been a rock star in another life, where he needs to be on stage and a really big outward dominant person, which is what he is. And you can see that in his chart. So he's got this Leo energy on his ascendant, but he's got his Pluto is very tied in very closely with the US chart, which means this is why we've got this divisive energy where they're reporting on people voting. They're either voting Biden or they're voting Trump. There's no middle voters. There's nobody undecided. They know which way they're going. And this is because of this Pluto energy. I think, as I said, that Biden will bring a much softer, gentler, calmer feeling to the US and will help it to heal. So, we've come through this karmic cycle. We've got planets which are demanding us and forcing us through this okay, it's time to get rid of all the confusion and the hidden truths. You bring the truth to the surface now and start bringing people together and working as one, as a community in partnerships with this light, more playful feel. And this is why I think that there's this Biden energy coming in a different way, because we've got the whole of the month, we've got this energy, this confusion and this anger as well. This is the other thing that's coming through, is we've got this anger and this volatility. So I think whatever happens with the US elections, as I said, I've got my views. I've shared my views on which one I think, but I think whichever way it goes, there will be anger, there will be violence. We've got Mars that's currently retrograde. That means it looks like it's going backwards in the sky. And Mars rules war and violence and energy and forward direction. Now it's going backwards at the moment. So I don't think the results are going to be very clear for a while. And I think when the results slowly come out, people will react violently to it. I think we're also getting violence around the world, which I keep seeing. The last few days we've had an earthquake, we've had a stabbing and a shooting, I think, just in the last 3 or 4 days around the world. That will calm down, not yet. We've got a month of this stuff going on. We've got Mars going backwards, and what Mars says is, when it's going backwards, it says, okay, you need to do the preparation for going forwards. It stations on the 13th, so that means it stopped going backwards. On the 13th it stops, it gathers some power, and then it goes forward on the 14th of November. It goes direct again. And as Mars goes forward, so Mars suddenly creates forward motion. It's a bit like a train that's been trundling backwards. And then it stops because it's got to hitch up to another carriage, and then it has to go forward again, and then it goes forward and it gets up speed. But it goes direct on the 14th at exactly the same time as we've got a new moon, and that new moon is happening. It's over the 14th to the 15th. I did actually work out the time exactly, and it's on the 15th, but that sort of depends where you are in the world. But on the 14th, 15th, we have a new moon. The new moon is in Scorpio, and Scorpio, again, it's that Pluto energy. It's the ruler of the underworld. And when you have new moons, it is new beginnings. So if you're in business, and I'm going to do a session on this in a week or so's time, but on the moon specifically, and how you can use it for your business. But if we've got new moons, they're the start of things, the start of new periods of time. The full moon has waned to a new moon, it's gone to dark, and then the new moon is the beginning of the cycle again, and it goes up to full when things become to fruition. So this new moon on the 15th is saying, okay, this is a new thing starting, a new period starting, just as this exactly the same time as Mars goes direct. So we've got this forward energy of stuff happening. So is that when we're going to get clearer on the result of the election? Because I think we all know that if Donald Trump doesn't get in, he is not going to be a happy man. And he's going to say, okay, well, the voting was rigged, and there's fraudulent voting going on. Probably there hasn't been at all, but he will force that into into being. So he will cause all this confusion. So we've got Neptune again with this confusion going on, but it's not going to get sorted out for a little while. I think will become clearer after the 14th, after mid-month, when, as I said, Mars goes forward again, and we've got a new moon. So that's a new beginning. That, in my head, makes sense. And the other thing is this Mars all month is tied up with the South Node. Remember I said to you about the South, you've got the North Node and South Node. And this South Node is, we're coming away from this karmic place where we've been of being self-righteous and saying, well, we're right, aren't we? You're wrong, I'm right. And you know, we see this across the world with various cultures, religions, the fundamentalists, and the people who are the fanatics, is the word I was looking for, who go about their daily business merrily shooting and stabbing people who are going about their daily business because they think they're right and they think their way is the highway, or is the only way forward. And this Martian energy involved with this, and it's making a nice easy relationship with this nodal point, which suggests that this volatility comes just easily to people. It's people are just blowing up all over the place, not literally, but getting angry and fighting and yeah, war. And I don't mean like a third world war or anything like that. I mean, you know, there's people attacking each other and fighting each other, and this horrible angry energy coming out, and I think this overriding energy from perhaps the rest of us is saying, oh, whoa, stop. We don't want it to be like this anymore. This is not, as a human race, we're better than this. We can act better than this. And this is what all this planetary, sorry, I'm waving at my bits of paper in front of me with there's all the planetary movements on here. That's what I'm reading. This is what I say. If I can tap into this on a energetic level, we've been in this place where we've had corrupt governments around the world. We've had leaders that we don't agree with. We've had powerful leaders which you know, rule but hide things. And as I said, we've been destroying the planet and not respecting it, and it's time for change. So this anger bubbling up now, this Mars anger bubbling up, and it's connected with this Pluto energy. Remember I said we've got Jupiter and Pluto together in Capricorn, so it's very earth. It's literally things coming up from underneath and blowing up. And Pluto and Mars both rule Scorpio. So we've got everything going in, coming up from the underworld and underneath and coming to the surface and blowing up. And just like if you had, let's bring it back right back down to earth. If you had a nasty boil or really painful spot on your skin, you know, it would be really red, it would be really hot. And there's a point at which you'll keep prodding at it, and there's a point at which that it'll burst. And when it bursts, it's angry and it's sore. And you know, even before it bursts, it's angry, it's red, it's sore. That's Mars for you. And when it bursts, that's our Pluto, pushed along by Jupiter. But all the pus comes out. Sorry to be a bit disgusting, but that's what happens. So all the pus comes out. And that's not nice either, is it? So whilst all that's coming out, you know, we're dabbing away, we don't like it, it hurts, it's sore. So there's this Mars energy of well, something's happened. So that's the forward energy. We've got the moon, which is a new beginning. So, okay, it's burst, new beginning. We've got this Pluto energy, Jupiter, which is already horrible, and it's like bringing it all to the surface really quickly. But in doing that, it'll heal. But we have to come together as a community. We have to wake up as a community and awaken to who we are as humans and be the best that we can be. This is what all this is saying. When I look at the entirety of all these planetary movements around the month, that it's demanding of us that this isn't the way to live anymore. We have to come together. We have to have a lightness of heart and enjoy one another and respect one another and become a community and, as I said, partnership, so that we can move forward. And in all of this stuff coming up from underneath the surface, we need that to happen, which is why I think Donald Trump has been so intrinsically tied up with the US charts, because of his Pluto energy right on top of the US's Pluto energy. We need it as a planet. We needed that to happen to make that boil burst. So I think that's what's happening at the moment. This boil is bursting in quite a big fundamental way. But the upshot is that we can then start to heal. Now, what happens in the end of December and January is that Saturn starts moving into Aquarius. So it gets out of this heavy Capricorn, which it's in. I mean, it loves being in Capricorn. But it also rules Aquarius in ancient times, before Uranus came on the scene. Or before we discovered Uranus, Saturn ruled Aquarius. So it is happy there as well. But it's a lighter energy. It's not as heavy as the Saturn in Capricorn. So it will separate away from Pluto. Jupiter will separate away from Pluto over the next couple of months. As we get to the end of this year and into January, everything will start lifting again. But we've got all this stuff to come out. Now, what was the last thing I was going to say to you? Yeah, I mean, we just got all month. We've got this Neptune featuring, we've got Moon, we've got Uranus. So all of it is about, and we've got Pluto, just all month. It's all about this, these truths which have to blow to the surface. Uranus, interestingly, would also rule life on other planets, UFOs. So who knows? With Uranus, I have always said expect the unexpected with Uranus. When it hits a planet in your chart, you can't predict how it's going to manifest. What it does, what you can predict is that it's unexpected. So I think there'll be stuff coming out that we don't know, we couldn't even dream of. It'll come out, but come out it will. When it comes out, we as a race can start to heal, but it is up to us. We have to move forward together to do this healing. You know, one of my concerns, just over the for any time really, but especially since COVID came along, is, as I said, how the media can drive people's anxiety and mental health and mental well-being, because they report on the negative all the time. And my personal feeling is that's not right. And they don't report the whole stories, as I said. So where am I going with this? These planetary movements is because they're demanding of us, that it is not demanding in a nasty way, but it is time to move on. It's time to move to how we actually want it to be. And part of that is, okay, media, well, you might have a place, but you need to report all of the truth, not just the bits that suit you to sell the newspapers or the radio stations or whatever. We need things to be lighter and more truthful, well, 100% truthful, and whatever is being hidden needs to come out. This is what this month is about. And I think Donald Trump oddly has his place in helping that to happen, in helping this boil to burst with this Pluto energy. I don't want to liken him to a boiler. It's a good thing that boils burst, but they then need healing. And I don't think the outcome of the election will be clear for a while. And whatever the result will cause volatility, it will cause anger, it will cause fighting, and we will see that around the world. But the truth will out. And I think if Donald Trump doesn't go on to become a second term, he will start releasing other truths as well. You know, if there's one thing that we can rely upon him, he tells us stuff and tells things as it is. He says it like it is. That's the word, that's the phrase I was looking for. Says it how it is. So he will bring things to light that maybe we have been hidden from us. Who knows? But because of this Uranian energy, whatever it is, expect the unexpected. Just expect the unexpected. Expect things to happen, things to change, truth to come out. There's going to be a lot of confusion and a lot of anger for a few weeks, but it does go. It does settle down. Towards the end of the year, it settles down. I think I can't see the actual result, as I said, in the charts, but I think Biden definitely has a more calming feel. He will be a good leader. He's a Scorpio, and you know, whatever you think, I don't know him at all, but he's a natural leader, and he'll have that natural charisma and that natural magnetism, and I think he will lead in a much calmer way, and a much more healing way and a lighter way, which is what the US needs, but what we need as a world, which as a whole, we need that lightness, that community, that partnership to happen over the world. And I think he will bring that. Let me just bring his chart up a second. Just give me 1 second whilst I just bring him up properly. There we go. So I had 4 charts on top of one another. So yes, he's looking at his chart in front of me. He's got a very powerful grand square in his chart, which again brings in these nodal points, but they're in different places in his chart. Yeah, he will be much more about caring about the planet and healing. He's got Virgo on his midheaven, which is healing. Where's his Venus disappeared to? His Venus, his Venus is right on the ascendant. So yeah, he and Venus in Scorpio. So he is a healer, fundamentally, and he's got his Sagittarius on the ascendant. So he's going to be pretty forward looking. He's got Chiron next to his north node. That's pretty close, actually. Now Chiron is the healing planet, and it's asteroid, is next to his north node, which is karmically where we need to move forwards. So he's got Chiron next to the north node. His north node is in Virgo. They're both in the 9th house, which is forward journeys of the mind. But his midheaven is Virgo, which is the earth. It's Virgo rules nurses and surgeons. Well, Scorpio rules surgeons, but nurses. But it's the earth, and Venus, which rules Virgo, is sitting on his ascendant right next to his sun, and it's in Scorpio, which is so he may have been a surgeon in a former life, who knows. But that Venus in Mars is a real healer, and he'll understand the psyche of the US nation and of the world. And with his grand square, and he's got Jupiter nicely trining his Venus and his sun. So Jupiter, remember that expansive energy, that Jupiter makes that healing aspect of him all the more greater, but it's a really nice energy in his chart, really, really nice energy. So I haven't really analysed this chart. I just really brought it up and I overlaid it on the US chart. But it's a nice energy. It's a different energy to Donald Trump's. He's actually got it's a strong chart, you know. So I'm now looking at it properly. But I think the world would benefit from Biden. But if Biden got in, then I just put myself back where I can see everything that's going on. I think if Biden gets in, then Donald Trump is not going to like it at all. So that'll cause more confusion and unrest and volatility. Whichever way it happens, there will be volatility. There will be people fighting. There will be lots of arguing. I think there'll be mudslinging from one camp rather than the other camp. But it'll settle down. It will settle down. We will settle, and it'll heal. And I think somehow Biden is caught up with this, will be part of the healing and the future. And we need new governments across the world to help heal our future. And I think across the world, this is not just affecting the US, this is affecting all around the world, these planetary moves at the moment. So, you know, here in the UK, we've got all sorts of shenanigans going on. As a world, globally, we're fighting COVID, let's not forget that. So I think there'll be some truth coming out about that as well, that we just don't know yet. As I said, expect the unexpected. We don't know. With Uranian energy, I can't say it's going to be one thing or another, but I will say expect big things to come out, and I expect there will be stuff. There'll be stuff in the media, there'll be stuff that's been hidden, maybe about how bad or not bad COVID is. I don't know. I think there'll be some more truths coming out, maybe some truths coming out about China. And I spoke about that in a social media post, as I said, back in the summer, where this all came out of originally, where these planetary moves started to emerge. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting month, and I think my message would be hold on to your hats and stay inside. This is my version of Boris's announcement, is to stay in your homes, because I think it will be the safest place to be. For your business, if I'm going to leave you with a bit of advice for your business, is, you know, this can affect businesses as well. So there'll be all this stuff going on at a worldwide level around the world, but just take hope from the fact that we will move into a better future. Next year will be a lot lighter. We will still be having to deal with COVID, but we will have moved on considerably. I haven't looked at next year's charts yet, but it will be a different energy about it, particularly as Saturn by then has moved into Aquarius. So for your business, now is the time, you know, perhaps you've got some clearing out to do. You know, Neptune covers anything that's hidden, and we've got Scorpio energy, so it's hidden. So other things you need to clear out or sort out in your business, and particularly whilst Mars is retrograde, you've got a couple of weeks before the 14th, before we hit the new moon and the Mars going direct, that you can sort some stuff out in your business. Finances particularly, just because there's Pluto kicking around. It's normally a Venus thing, but we've got Mars opposite Venus. It's not a big player, but there are, what is there in your business that you can sort out over the next couple of weeks? Do you need to put some stuff to bed for this year? Do you need to, I don't know, sort out that drawer that's always messy, that's got things in it you have no idea what it is? Do you need to have a good clear out? And if you can get that good clear out, it creates nice positive energy and allows the good stuff to come in. And if you can do that before the 14th, when Mars goes direct and this new moon comes into being as well, then you can start moving forward in your business and think about, well, okay, I can be open to new opportunities and new things happening in my business. Even if I don't know what they are yet, I'm going to be open to them and open to collaborating and open to partnerships and open to new technology. Can I embrace new technology in a way that I haven't already? Remember that karmic full moon is saying, leave it behind, go into your new future. But you have to, when we go into a new future, we have to just step forward, even if we don't know what's there. We have to step forward into it, and we then find ourselves in a new comfort zone. And we should always grow. We're here on this earth as spiritual beings. We are spiritual beings in a physical body with an intellectual mind. We have the three of those things. Now, our spirit here is the one that wants us to grow all the time. And you will have heard me say this before on any of my videos and in my podcast, that I will talk about how if your spirit desires something, so have you got an inner desire, an inner dream or goal or a wish that's right deep down inside that you really want to do, and then there's a little part of you, this little thing on your shoulder says, no, why should you be doing that? That's not for you. Or no, who are you to do that? Well, who are you not to be? Because that inner desire is your spirit saying, come on, you need to come out and expand and grow. And our spirit is put on this planet to grow and be the best that we can be. And this is what this new moon is about. This is part of our awakening as a human race. Our spiritual awakening as a human race is to understand that if we can all be the absolute best that we can be, we can fulfill our potential in our businesses. How marvelous can that serve the rest of the world? Because if you are being the absolute best that you can be at your most joyous, because you are living the best version of you in the highest form that you can be, and you will always grow to more. That's the amazing thing. But in doing that, you can serve the world in a better place. Now, if you've been listening to the last 45 minutes, hour, or however long I've been doing this, I guess you're of the mind that you are much more spiritually aware, perhaps, or you've got a curiosity, or there's something nudging you. And it's us who are spiritually aware that need to take the lead and open our minds so that others can come along too, so others can take heart and take confidence in what we're doing and follow our footsteps. So take some confidence from that you would not have any inner desires or inner goals or inner dreams unless you were meant to fulfill them, because it makes you the best and the most joyous that you can be. And why can't we have a whole world of people who are respecting one another because they live their lives so joyously inside here, and you live from the heart because you're fulfilling your own joy, your own love, your own dreams. So this is what this new moon has been saying, is come on, get rid of that old comfy slippers, tighten now. Just because you've been comfortable and used to it doesn't mean to say that you should be doing it. Dig down in your heart, use this Pluto and this Neptune energy to find out what's hidden down inside. What truth should I bring up inside of me now? What am I keeping hidden from the world? And I can tell you categorically that this is why I'm doing this. This is my first time that I've recorded a video on astrology. I have loved astrology since I was 14. And I am 52 in a couple of weeks' time. So yes, that makes me a Scorpio. That also makes me, yes, that's 52. That also makes 38 years of studying and loving this subject and knowing, for me anyway, seeing how it works and how it transpires. But I've kept it hidden. And I've kept it hidden from all but a very few. So it's really been my very close friends, and then only a select few of those friends who have known that about me. And when I published my social media post earlier this year, it was a big step for me, and that made me feel pretty vulnerable, but people loved it. And thank you for that, if you were one of those who loved that post. And really, it's only been in the last couple of weeks, as we're coming up to this new moon. It wasn't a deliberate part on my part, but that energy was building of, I've got this thing inside me and I really have to get it out. I really have to use this thing that I love so much, and this thing that is part of me that I have kept hidden from the world, to bring out, to serve the world in a much better capacity. And I think I already serve the world as to the best of my ability as a marketeer, and my understanding of mindset will only get greater over time. But to me, my astrology has been my hidden truth, and it's not a nasty thing. It's just a thing. I've kept it hidden. It is my hidden truth. So in all this Pluto energy in my world, and this Neptune, what is my hidden truth? My hidden truth has been my astrology. Pluto is now demanding, and Jupiter with this Pluto is saying, no, you got to get it out now. It's time to get it out and serve the world in this new way, and bring yourself to the fore, bring yourself to your full potential. And I'm really excited about where this will take me. I have no idea where it'll take me. I know I love speaking. That's probably quite apparent, having been waffling on for quite a while. But I've always wanted to be a speaker, and I do public speaking quite a lot. But I speak on marketing. And latterly I've been speaking on mindset, but now it's bringing in astrology and actually moving into the direction I want to go. far more sort of bringing this in. So you may not know the direction that you're going in with your business, but you don't need to know that. You just need to know what your inner spirit is asking you to do, and what your inner spirit is saying, this is my inner truth. This is time for your inner truth to come out. This is time for you to awaken and to find out who you truly are, and let that come out to the world. That's what this planetary activity is asking you to do now. And it may not be easy, and you may feel vulnerable, but that's okay. You're in a safe space. But let it come out, and the joy and love that you will feel will be like nothing that you've been feeling so far. So use these energies for your advantage and for your fulfillment and your direction going forward. And I'm going to leave that there. If you like this, please let me know, because I would like to do some more of these. And I will do December's perhaps a little bit more in advance of December. This all rather took me by surprise over the last couple of weeks, so I'm sort of playing a bit of catch up, but I'm quite happy to do a forecast every month. I'll try not to make them as long as this one. And let's see together where it goes. So yeah, keep at home, hold on to your hats, look for your own inner truth, and let that come to the surface, and move forward into this new way of being for you, for your life, to fulfill who you truly are and awaken to who you truly are. And yeah, don't worry so much about what's happening in the world. I promise it'll settle down. I can see it in the planets. It'll settle down. But I'll talk more of that next month. But I will do a bit of I'll touch on the new moon in a podcast and video, and I'll talk a little bit about Mars, I think, as we come up to that. I think that would be helpful. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. If you listen to the podcast, thank you so much for watching. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, my podcast listeners can't see my rosy cheeks. If I'm passionate, I get these rosy cheeks. I can't do much about that. So thank you, and I will look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye for now.